Yeah, we are looking at methods of price determination, and we have done the diagrammatical illustration where we are showing that the maximum price is set below the equilibrium point. That is the equilibrium price. So, and we say the equilibrium price is where the quantity supplied is equal to quantity demanded. So we have the maximum price. Government sets it below the equilibrium price, and we have seen the effect of it, that when the maximum price is set, the supply is at this point, and they call this point A, supply is at A, and the demand is at B. So we can see that there is an increase in the quantity demanded in the market, and at the same time the suppliers are saying no, following the law, the price has gone down, so the quantity supplied has also to reduce that. Now, before we explain further this diagram, we want to find out, why does government set the maximum price? We said it is set in the interest of the consumer. This maximum price, when the government is setting it, it focuses on the consumer, that the consumer has been exploited by the sellers, or the equilibrium price is higher than what the majority of the consumers can afford. There are people who have not demanded the commodities because the equilibrium price is high. So government comes in and says, no, we want everybody to consume this product. Not everybody, but the majority to consume this product. So it sets a price below the equilibrium to cater for all those who are not able to buy at that particular price, which is determined by the forces of demand and supply, and establishing the equilibrium price. So the first reason is to protect the consumers against exploitation, by the sellers. The sellers may be profit driven, and they want to get as much profit as possible. So government sets a price. Remember, we said this price is set below the equilibrium, and by definition we say above which you are not supposed to charge the consumer, meaning that that higher price at which you do charge the consumer is now guarded by is guarded by the maximum price. So that is one reason why government sets the maximum price, because it is guarding against exploitation of the consumer. And once this one is achieved, you can see that the consumer now is paying a lower price. So that means his real income is increasing, and this real income increasing means that to improve the standard of living, the SOL, the standard of living of the consumers. Why? Because they will be able to purchase other various goods. He was paying this for less output. Now, either he's buying the same output and the balance is using it to buy other commodities, or he buys more of that commodity. Whichever side he takes, or whichever decision he takes, he's going to improve his standard of living, because he's now having enough income, he's now having variety of commodities. Why? Because the prices are set below the equilibrium. And when we are talking about prices set below the equilibrium, it is not a price for one commodity. Government can come up and set prices for over 20 basic commodities: sugar, salt, cooking oil, paraffin, soap, all these. Now, if the consumer is getting lower prices, it means that he's saving from the income he has been having, and that means he can buy other commodities he has been foregoing, thereby improving his standard of living. So that is another reason why government comes up to set the maximum price for the consumer, such that the consumer can have an improved standard of living. Then, to encourage consumption of commodities, this is to encourage the consumption of the commodities. The consumer has been foregoing. He might be buying this because the income is low, cannot afford the big amount. Now he can be able to do so. Or he can buy what has been foregoing. Say, let me not buy this, my income will not be able to cater for all these commodities. Now, the government has helped him to be able to cater for all those other commodities which have been foregone because of the high prices. And number 4, that is going to help the government, the consumer, is to help in the even distribution of goods among the consumers. The consumers have been foregoing commodities. Some have been buying, those are the ones who constitute this. But now, after the price has been set at a lower price, the consumers have increased. This increase in demand may not be for these ones who have been encouraging the equilibrium point. These might be new other consumers that have come in to consume the commodities. So it, in a way, improves the distribution of these commodities, because now those who are not affording the commodities can now afford, and they might be the ones who have increased this output. This demand has come up because the price has been lowered. You have been buying 10 people the sugar from a certain shop. Now, government declaring that the price of sugar should be sold at a lower price. Those who have been foregoing the sugar are going to come on board and start buying the commodity, the sugar. That means the set the maximum price has helped the consumers to start consuming the commodity which they have been foregoing. And why foregoing it? Because the equilibrium price has been higher than what they can afford. Now that it has been lowered, this increment may not be the one who has been buying more. That may also cause that, but it may be that those who have not been buying the commodity are now coming on board to start buying the commodity. So it helps the government to achieve equal distribution or even distribution of commodities among the consumers or those who are supposed to buy the commodities. So those are basically the four major reasons why government comes up to protect the consumer, to set maximum price. And the major one is the first one, which we say to protect the consumers against exploitation. Because in a purely free market economy, the consumer can be exploited by private individuals buying, selling at a higher price. But when government comes in, they said this one works when it's a socialist economic system, but more so when it's a mixed economic system. And once it is mixed, it means that government has a say over the resources and the private sector has a say over the resources. Now, the private sector is profit motivated. It wants to gain more profits. By so doing, it will charge higher prices. Government comes in and says, no, I'm setting a price. You make your production, sell whatever you want to sell, but this should be the price for this commodity. And that makes it far, far better and good for the consumer. So those are the reasons why government sets the minimum usually, and those are the advantages. By the way, the reasons for setting is you turn them to, if it is the reason, it is to. We use the word to do this, to achieve this. Now, if they ask you, what are the advantages? These two now changes, and you put it in present simple tense and say, it protects the maximum price, protects the consumer against exploitation. So those very points that we have given, they can be reasons, and once they have been asked as reasons, when you are answering, the approach is you begin with the to, or there is an implication of to. Government sets maximum price to protect the consumers. Government sets the maximum price to allow even distribution of commodities. Now, if it comes to what are the advantages of maximum, or give to advantages of maximum price, you change it from to, the point remains the same. Now the approach, the presentation is going to change. The one which has been to becomes present simple presentation. It protects the consumer against exploitation. It leads to even distribution of commodities among the consumers. So that one, you have to note that when we are not going to have other set of advantages, but these very reasons for setting, government has considered the benefits of maximum price. And now, why two? Advantages or benefits or gains out of it is you have to change the tense to, the presentation to go into the tense of present simple tense. Present simple tense means that now it has become an advantage. You are presenting it as an advantage, but it is the same point which you are presenting. So we have seen that, and now we ask ourselves, because the reasons and the advantages as the positive aspects. Now, the negative effects of minimum price, once we talk of the minimum, the negative aspects of maximum price, we are talking about the disadvantages, the demerits. So, the disadvantages, the demerits, and the negative effects of maximum price. These ones are the same. It will be only the presentation, but as you said, demerits, we are talking about disadvantages, you are talking about the negative effects of maximum price. And therefore, we are going to look at the disadvantages, or let us call it negative I'm keeping the diagram on because we are going to use it as we give the disadvantages or the demerits or the negative effects. So we are looking at the negative effects of maximum price. When government sets the maximum price, what are the likely negative effects of this maximum price? What we have to note first is that it is set below the equilibrium. It is set below the equilibrium. And because it is set below the equilibrium, it means the consumer is happy that he's going to buy these commodities at a lower price than he has been buying. And as I've said, there are those who have not been consuming that product. They have not been taking that product. Why? Because the equilibrium price is higher than what they are willing, or not willing, but what they are able to pay. Their incomes cannot allow them to buy these commodities at that price. So they have not been taking the commodities. Now that the price has gone down, these consumers come on board to start taking the commodities. By so doing, they are increasing the demand. And you have seen that once the demand has been increased, the maximum price, following that diagram, the maximum price, the producers are only willing to supply, to put on the market, only that price, that quantity, Q1. So what is the result of this? By putting there Q1, by putting there Q1, they are actually use another. This is the price of black market price. So I have put it there so that you can see it. We say maximum price, once it is set, it will lead to higher prices. And we say it leads to high illegal, sometimes we say black market prices. And when we say the black market, now these commodities, essentially this is supposed to be the demand after the lower price has been declared. The demand comes here. But now, at this price, the suppliers, those who are selling the commodities, are not willing to supply at this price. They will not increase the supply. The demand is here, but the supply is here. So, because of that, it forces this supply they are willing to put on the market, its price to go up. And that's why we call it black market price. Now the commodities are going to be sold in hiding. That's why we call it black market. You are not going to see the commodities in the shops because they are not selling at the price government has said. Someone will just tell you that, do you want the product? Do you want the commodity? Yes. You give me the money. But I'm not selling at this price. I'm not even selling at the equivalent price because now the moment government comes in to set the price, that means the equilibrium price is done away with. You no longer follow this. So the price that has gone down, government has declared, for example, that prices of sugar has been 2,000 shillings per kilo. Government says no, you should sell the kilo at 1,500. That is the maximum price. Now, once it comes to this, the demand is going to increase. Once the demand increases, the end result is they say we are not going to sell our products. Those are the sellers or producers. We are not selling our sugar at that price of government. So they reduce that. If you want us to sell, we can only give out only Q1. They reduce the quantity on the supply. Now this quantity QE to Q this one here, this quantity here is going to be sold at black market. They are going to hide it. They are going to sell it behind the curtains and they say now sugar is 3,000. At this 3,000 is not in the open shop. It is not going to be in the open shop. So the prices are likely to increase after the maximum price has been set. Why does it increase? This is the situation we are having. It was equilibrium. Government set a maximum price. Below the equilibrium, demand increased because everybody now can buy the sugar at 1,500. Now the demand has increased, but the sellers are saying no. At this maximum price, you can only allow to sell only 50 kilograms of sugar. That's what we can sell. But we are not going to sell other kilograms at that price. So they hide the price. And now the sugar is going to become expensive. So sugar will be taken at a higher price. But even this one, which we are saying government has said, you may not find it even operating anywhere. It may only remain on document, but not operating anywhere. So that is what we see. So it leads to high illegal or black market prices. That's what you have to know. That once you set the price, government must know what is going to happen. And we have illustrated it here. It was 2,000 equilibrium price. Government set maximum price at 1,500. Everybody rushed to buy the sugar, but the sugar disappeared from the market. They hid the sugar and they started selling it quietly in what we call black market. We call it black market. The market you don't see. Someone just comes and, do you have sugar? I have it. But do you have 3,000 shillings? I get you a kilo you want. You give me the money. He moves out, he moves around, he brings it quietly. And such sugar is now sold to some individuals, not all. So that is a negative effect of dictating prices. It leads to the black market. And then another is that it leads to the disappearance of the commodities from the open market. And it goes to black market. So it is, I've already explained that it leads to the disappearance when the consumer finally says no. Finally says no. And not the consumer, the seller says no, we cannot sell at that price, and the commodities disappear. So after declaring the maximum price, say for sugar, for salt, for soap, you may find the shops getting empty. People will be hiding. They will not buy more. When you go, say, I want sugar, I don't have, but I can get you at this. And they will only sell to those they know, because it is illegal to sell at a higher price. You know that somebody will arrest you, or they may tell police to arrest you. So that is another disadvantage of setting the maximum price. say it creates income inequality. It creates income inequality among the consumers. Why? Now people who have the money, you need the sugar. So the little income that you are going to have, you had 10,000. Now you are buying the sugar at 6,000. When you buy 2 kilograms, that means 6,000, and your income now reduces your income. Whereas those who have the money, they will not feel it. So the income gap is going to increase, and that is dangerous for an economy. Then another one is that it discourages production. Discourages production. How does it discourage production? Because of this. These ones were willing to supply at this, you lower the price, then that means they are going to supply less than what they have been supplying. Some will even abandon the production completely. Others will reduce the amount they are producing. Why are they reducing? Because now the price is lower than what it has been. And you know, the lower supply, the higher the price, the higher the supply. The lower the price, the lower the supply. So because of that, the supply reduces. And once it reduces, it means that there is an impact, there is a negative impact on the economy. Output will decrease. And once it decreases production, that means the commodities available are going to be less. And if these have been exports, the exports are going to reduce, and that means the foreign exchange earnings are going to reduce, and which will be dangerous because it will be affecting the balance of payment positions when you have lowered the price. Then it can create scarcity inflation. In the country. Why? Because now price which was 2,000, government came up to reduce it 1.5. It finally went to 6,000, and the producers have reduced the production. Because they have reduced the production, they are using illegal price to sell, and this illegal price may continue expanding, persistently increasing. Why? Because the producers are continuously reducing their production. So the commodities might even go beyond this level, and they reduce so much. Once they reduce and reduce and reduce, for example, if they reduce from here and come to this Q3, you'll find the price is going to 3,500, 4,000, and that means you are creating an inflationary situation. Why is this inflation coming into the country? It is called the scarcity inflation. It is called the scarcity inflation. The commodities are getting scarce. Why are they getting scarce? They are getting scarce because of the maximum price, which has discouraged the production. And where people are abandoning the production, commodities reduce in supply, and once they reduce in supply, automatically it means that these goods, the economy is going to suffer from inflation. Then the last one we can look at is it increases government expenditure. On monetary the sellers, monitoring the sellers. So it increases government expenditure on monitoring the sellers. You have to, because it's illegal to sell at a higher price, so you have to now to employ police, employ security, intelligence to make sure that people are not selling. And now you have to even to increase the expenditure of arresting, taking them to court, taking them to prison, those who are selling at a higher price, those who are selling at black market. So you are increasing the government expenditure, because now these ones, you are going to arrest them, you are going to look for them. It's not only arresting, you have to have a plan for intelligence to find out who is selling at a higher price, who is hiding the commodities. So now government expenditure increases. Whereas when it was a free market economy, there was no need to supervise, to monitor. Everything was being worked on by forces of demand and supply. Now that you have come in, you have to get the people who are going to implement to ensure that the set price has not been interfered with. So that is it. Another disadvantage, that is another demerit. And possibly the last one we can have, there are many others you can think of, but the last one you can think of is it reduces government tax revenue. You see, it reduces government reduces government revenue from taxes. That is another disadvantage. It reduces government revenue from taxes. This is because the price has been reduced. So, government revenue has to reduce. Why? One, the price has been reduced. And another reason also, the black market will not allow easy tax collection, because you don't know who is selling, you don't know how they are getting the prices, you don't know how they are, the commodities. So the tax revenue is going to be greatly affected, and those are some of the disadvantages that we are to consider. We have looked at the maximum price. So our next consideration is going to be minimum price.